Some days meditation will feel easy. On others, it might feel difficult. The trick is to gently stay with it each time, no matter how it feels. Look for a place in your routine where this exercise can slot in easily. Research shows it's easier to create a new habit when we do it at about the same time each day. We recommend doing it first thing in the morning, but you might need to be flexible with that. Find somewhere you won't be disturbed. Don't worry too much about background noise. I'll explain how to deal with that, but it might be easier at first if you have some peace and quiet. Make sure you're sitting comfortably before you start. Unless you're used to sitting cross-legged on the floor, I'd recommend using a chair. Sit with your legs and arms uncrossed, feet flat on the floor, and hands resting in your lap or on your legs. Try to keep your back straight, but not too tense. If you need it, a small cushion or a rolled up towel under your backside will help keep your back straight. And that's it. You're now ready to get some headspace. When doubt arises in the mind, it's really tempting to buy into those thoughts. For some reason, those thoughts sound a little more important, a little more believable than the other thoughts. The thoughts about what happened yesterday or a conversation, planning to have later in the day, or perhaps, I don't know, chores we have to do at home. Those don't kind of seem, we're used to that. We kind of know they don't require our immediate attention. But somehow that little thought, that little question mark, that doubt that arises in the back of the mind, somehow it feels like it deserves more. But it is just a thought, and like any other thought, the aim here, the intention is to step back, to have a little bit of distance from the thoughts and feelings, not to buy into them, not to get swept away by them, not to get overwhelmed by them, but instead to see them clearly and to let them go. Now, of course, thoughts of this nature have the potential to prevent us from even sitting down to get some headspace. We might not even have got to the point of beginning the exercise, and already the mind is, do I have time? I don't know. Or is this going to work? Are these techniques, are they really going to make a difference? Even if we've done it before, even if we've experienced the difference, still these question marks might arise in the mind. So it's really important that we kind of work with this in two ways. On the one hand, we're saying, okay, these are just thoughts. We don't treat them in any other way. And at the same time, we can actually reflect. And you'll notice at the end of each kind of session, I always ask you to just notice how you're feeling now. And over time, the mind starts to recognize that it feels different now. And in recognizing that, it gains confidence, it gains trust. And it's trust not because I say it works, it's not because of historically these techniques have been shown to work, or scientifically. Instead, it's your experience. And you know, and you can reflect on that, and okay, well, yeah, actually, I did feel different. And that's what it means to kind of build kind of genuine confidence and trust in these techniques. And it's a really important part of it. But from a bigger perspective, it is about kind of seeing those thoughts clearly and not buying into them. I think when we're learning these techniques, it can be, doubts especially active in the mind. And it's usually about, our own worries and concerns of whether we're doing it in the right way. So rather than simply doing the exercise, we're thinking about doing the exercise, and we're thinking about whether we're doing it right or whether we need to do something else. And why isn't this happening? I wonder if I should be doing a bit more of that. So doubt arises in that way. Again, don't be too worried and concerned about that. It's perfectly normal. It's part of that learning process. And as you move from sort of learning the technique to practicing it, ultimately to sort of mastering it, you'll see that background chatter and doubt tends to dissipate quite quickly. But as you move on and as you continue to sit and get some headspace on a daily basis over a really long period of time, you may well again encounter doubt. And it's an interesting one because we kind of feel like we've moved past it. We feel like we've left it behind. And yet this time the doubt's a little bit stronger. It's a deeper sense of doubt. And it's often doubt kind of, I want to say existential, but it's a bigger kind of question. And that is, I think, is vital at that point, that we don't buy into the thoughts that arise, and instead we sit and we get comfortable with doubt. And like any other thought or emotion, we allow it to be present, to unwind in its own way. And when we do that, something really, really interesting begins to happen. Imagine you're walking down a street. It's a street you know well, maybe one you walk down every single day. But you're so caught up in your own thinking, wondering what you're going to have for lunch, thinking back to a conversation you had earlier, that you end up falling down a hole. Now at the bottom of this hole, you find yourself thinking, how did I end up here? Worse yet, the next day, you do the exact same thing. And then again, the next day. It may not sound like an especially cheerful idea, but as an analogy for the mind, it's really helpful. Because so often, we follow the same habits of mind over and over again.
How's it going, guys?
And so we find ourselves in an emotional hole. Maybe even a place that's really painful. But imagine if you started just noticing, being more aware of your surroundings. Sure, maybe next time you'd realize a little too late and you'd still end up in the hole again. But maybe the time after that, you'd notice the hole and choose to walk around it instead. This is what it means to train the mind. This is what it means to have headspace.
I pray that you take the time to go work on yourself and to kind of put everything on hold for yourself because you're worth it. But yeah, I feel like I'm gonna cry, you know, it's just, I don't know, this shit means a lot to me, all of it. It's like super deep, it's not like, I don't do this shit for kicks, you know what I'm saying? My fucking life.
Sometimes, when we're meditating and we realize the mind's wandered off, we might not know how to react. Noting gives us some very clear direction, perhaps a greater sense of clarity and confidence. In that moment, we pause and identify the nature of distraction. Oh yeah, thinking, or oh, feeling. Having noted, there's a sense of having dealt with it. This makes it easier to let go of the distraction and gently return to the object of focus. And when it happens again, which it will, we simply apply the same approach, gently noting the nature of the distraction. Now when we begin noting, the temptation is to try and catch every single thought and feeling, but that quickly becomes tiring. We only need note the distraction when we realise that we've been lost in thought, and even then, it's a very gentle acknowledgement. Imagine it a little less like whack-a-mole and a little more like a feather, softly being placed on a fine crystal glass. So noting is when we recognise the mind as wandered. We acknowledge it, gently note the nature of distraction, let it go, and then effortlessly return to the object of focus. Training the mind is often quite different to how people imagine it to be. Maybe they have an idea it's about stopping thoughts or eliminating feelings, but the reality is a bit different. An easy way to think of it is to imagine yourself sitting on the side of a busy road, the passing cars representing the thoughts and the feelings. All you have to do is to sit there and watch the cars. Sounds easy, right? But what usually happens is that we feel a bit unsettled by the movement of the traffic. So we run out into the road and try and stop the cars, or maybe even chase after a few, forgetting that the idea was to just sit here. And of course, all of this running around only adds to the feeling of restlessness in the mind. So training the mind is about changing our relationship with the passing thoughts and feelings, learning how to view them with a little more perspective. And when we do this, we naturally find a place of calm. Will we sometimes forget the idea of the exercise and become distracted? Of course we will. But as soon as we remember, here we are, back on the side of the road again, just watching the traffic go by, perfectly at ease in both body and mind.